Oshio, welcome to the Happy to Be Nappy show. Feathers up, feathers up, feathers up. And I have an amazing show for you today. And my show and topic is Kanye West, who made the statement that slavery is a choice. And Kanye was absolutely right. Slavery is a choice. It really is. And most people that have this copper tone, brown skin, because this is a darker brown, okay? And this dress, that's black. I'm not black. Okay, this is white. Never seen nobody look white like this. White right here. Never saw Caucasian look. There's white behind me in my dream catcher. Never saw a Caucasian look like that. So slavery is a choice because everything that they implement on you, you take it and you accept it. So that's a form of slavery. Okay? When Kanye West said slavery is a choice, he is so right. Because most of you that are homeowners, that have a mortgage, you're a slave. You don't own that house. Okay? You're a tenant. Because when you did the mortgage, you signed as the grantor and not the grantee. So you don't own the house, you're just a tenant. When you give birth to your children and you turn them over to the state by the birth certificate, the Social Security, you are a slave. The same thing applies when you get married. You go to the church because church and state are the same. You get married by the justice of the peace, your property of the state. Most of us are really, like Kanye West said, slaves. It's a choice. And when you get locked up and you start running your mouth, you're a slave because you know what? Guess what? You're volunteering, you're a volunteer surety. Our biggest problem as a people, as an indigenous, autochthon, aboriginal, copper color people, we have no knowledge of trust law, about the law. You remember when O.J. Simpson got charged with that killing his wife, his ex-wife, or whatever she was to him? And remember in civil court, they went to sue him. And greetings, Harris. When they went to sue him, they couldn't sue him because he had all his stuff in trust. Okay? And most of our people they don't know anything about that. And then, I've just had it like Kanye West was saying. He was like, we're not black. He was like, his grandmother always told him he was American Indian, which we are, and the whole world knows. The whole world has conspired against us. Okay? The whole world comes over here. Now we have the Africans that want to take, because we're the 10th richest people in the nation. So the Nigerians and different people, parts of Africa, were saying we don't have a culture, but everybody wants to be like us. Everybody want to talk like us. What's up, son? Yo, B. Our whole culture, our dance, our language, our swag, our fashion, the whole world loves us and hates us at the same time because the whole world conspired against us to come over to the land of milk and honey, aka Turtle Island, aka Tamerica, Tamari, aka which the colonizers turned into United States. And if you don't know, the United States is a business, it's a corporation. Okay, it's not even a country, it's a corporation, it's a business. Okay, and most of you don't know that. So I've been around with social media and me speaking this message. I've met a lot of imposters, a lot of frauds, a lot of chaos agents. And the biggest problem with our people that look like me, this complexion, copper, beautiful tone, hue, is that most of us are really, they're mostly sexual predators. They're always on social media showing you their penis, showing you, I mean, that's what our people are thinking with downstairs, showing off their penis. They just only just want to have sex. Meanwhile, the world has taken over your land. Okay, you have been conquered, and all you can think about is busting a nut. I mean, imagine that. All you want to do is bust a nut, and they taking all your resources and everything. Okay, the money is even not real. It's not real. Nothing is real. It's all a movie. So when Kanye West said that we are a slave, that slavery is a choice, it is a big choice. A big choice. You don't own your cars. When you take out a loan on your car, you don't own that car. You don't own anything. You own nothing. 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 Hey, Miss Pearl. Good at you. Just a slave. Just a slave. Slavery is a choice. And 99% of the brown skin, copper color, indigenous, original American Indians that has been reclassified as African American, and we're not African American. And the Africans know that, okay? Where was they in the 60s when we was getting hosed down and beat down? Where was the Native Americans in the 60s? Because the Civil Rights Act is the Indian Removal Act, the Indian Bill of Rights. Where was they? It was Dr. King. He said he felt like he threw us in a burning building. He also said when Plymouth Rock landed here, we were here. We were always here, and the world knows that. So when Kanye West said that slavery is a choice, it is a choice. Y'all don't know nah. You don't know nothing, are ya? You should know already. You done know already, seeing? And we have the Jamaicans who propagate it with all the reggae music. Mama Africa, Selassie, all propaganda. We've been bamboozled by the music industry, by Hollywood, aka Hollywood, with the false narrative of African Americans in the 50s, which was like 70 years ago. We were considered colored. Okay, we've had several name reclassification. The only people on the earth, okay? And then now they want to tell you that you came from Africa, knowing that you came from here. The country India was named after the British, okay? India is Bharat, aka Hindustan. Their culture is Hinduism, okay? They're not Indians. The British colonizer that colonized India named them India, and gave it the country the name from Bharat to India. So as a result, the word India to the colonizer, the British, guess what? That means slave. So when I'm in like the 7-Elevens, all these stores looking at the people from India, I am Indian. How are you Indian? Sir, you're from Bharat, which is Hindustan. You're not Indian. I am. Original indigo. If you look up the word indigo, it means hue, brown hue, okay? This melanin is from the sun. I am a child of the sun, okay? I've been educating y'all and teaching y'all for the longest, but we have a whole bunch of people out there that is totally ignorant. And this is why we still here. Thank you. We are still here. We ain't going nowhere. And this is why when Kanye West said that slavery is a choice, it's the truth. And the truth hurts because most Negroes, because we were Negro, colored, like I said, 70 years ago, if you called somebody black, and this is black, this right here is black, that's black. Oh, let me show you black right here. Black, black, black. Okay, that's black. Okay, if you called somebody black in the 50s, it was an insult. Those are fighting words. But as you see, each day, our people are becoming more and more ignorant. Okay, and this is how the Africans was able, under the Biden administration, get themselves in to get part of our money. Okay, Africa hasn't done anything for us. I've been to Africa 3 times. I've been to Ghana, Senegal, Gambia, Mali, okay? I've been there. I would never live there. I would never want to be there. America is the motherland. Why is Ethiopia 7 years behind us on the calendar? Why? Because America is older, okay, than Africa. My bloodline, my blood type is O negative. So that makes me the mother of civilization. Why? Because O negative is a universal donor. So I can give blood to the world. So that makes me the mother of civilization. What they did was They shipped 1,500 of us to Liberia, having these Negroes thinking that they was going to get a better life, and they went over there and saw. Okay? And then the slave trade is in the reverse. We were taken from here over to over there to Africa. It was the other way around. And then brought back over here as Africans. But y'all don't read a book. Y'all don't do no research. Y'all just follow celebrities who are cast under the spell. That's why Kanye West came out of the spell after they murdered his mother, because his mother was brilliant. She was so brilliant. She was like so amazing. And she knew too much, so they got rid of her. He ended up marrying a Kardashian. His life came a living hell. So that's why he's talking now. That's why he can. That's like even now he was talking about how when he went up on the stage with Taylor Swift and did what he did, that was Beyonce planned to do it. And then she threw him under the rug, Jay-Z and them. They're all demonic. They have sold their souls and they are evil. You so busy following celebrities, sports athletes, all these people are under contracts. They're under contracts. They can't talk. They can't say anything because, like Kanye West said, slavery is a choice. Yes, what did you say? Yep, dinosaur bones and no slave. Thank you. Say it again. They got dinosaur bones, but no slave ships. Thank you for that. You're cokey. Woo! Feathers up for that. Feathers up, feathers up, feathers up. They don't. They have nothing. And we're the age of truth for 2,153 years. The truth is unstoppable. I posted yesterday on my page on Facebook about this brother who his family bloodline ran from this part to all the way to the coast of Mexico, because the original Mexicans look like me, okay? And the Mexicans that you see, the Caucasians now, they're nothing but Caucasian Spaniards. They're homeless people. All these people that don't have any melanin are homeless people. They all came from the Caucasus Mountain, up in the mountains on all fours, living like dogs. That's why dogs is their best friend, because they were living and like an animal, like a dog. Okay, and they have now brainwashed our people to be sex maniacs. That's all they got in the brain. They're not fighting for their land. They're not making no strides to get their land back. All they want to do is pump and grump. They always want to see a big booty. The only thing that comes out your behind is feces, defecation. So what's the obsession with the big booties and the big breasts? Breasts are for breastfeeding, okay? But Hugh Hefner got you obsessed with breasts when he came out with Playboy magazine. With all these, first it was Caucasian women with breasts. Breasts are for breastfeeding. There's only but so much you can take in your mouth, and that's just the beginning, the head of the breast. You can't take the whole 40F, 40D, 40 whatever, 38C, B, whatever. And we're still here, okay? No matter how much you lie, we're woke. Well, we've been woke. And I just want to thank my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents that continuously told me as a child that we wasn't African, that we were American Indian. Let me know my tribes, which is Cherokee, which is Anahuia, Blackfoot, Mohawk, Mohegan, Yamasee. Shout out to my daughter's family who's Choctaw, you know, and my great aunt that lived to be 102. She would always get upset with us and say, you know, we Geechee. Don't let me get mad up in here. So they knew that they were American Indian. And between 1924 and 1967, you could not say you were Cherokee, you were not Blackfoot, you were Creek, you were Muskogee, you were any tribe that you were, Owawak, Taino. You went to jail for saying that. You got locked up. And then the next year was 1968, which was the Civil Rights Act, which was when they was the Indian Act removal, the Indian Bill of Rights, okay? Where was the African? Where was all these people when the Civil Rights Act came? They was in nowhere. But then After they used Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, who was very promiscuous, stepped out on his wife. Okay, Malcolm X didn't do that. He was he was the real deal. He even told you, you're Aboriginal. That's what dark skin. You the ancient people of this land. So after they murdered him, after they used him for the whole Civil Rights Act, because he was the forefront, the face of it, and that sellout Jesse Jackson, who is the one in 1988, worked with the government to reclassify us from Black Americans, because Black is an adjective, to African Americans. And this is why Jesse Jackson is in a wheelchair, because our ancestors don't play that. Okay, you're going to reap what you sow. Okay? After that, they murdered Dr. Martin Luther King. We start burning down our communities. They forced James Brown, who is Apache Indian, to make the song I'm Black and I'm Proud. Look it up. The song was 1968. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. But listen to the song. He never sings the chorus. James Brown never sings the chorus. Go YouTube it. He never sings the chorus. You know why? Because he knew he was American Indian. And they had already murdered Sam Cooke. A change is going to come. And then they had that guy, Seal, from Africa, mess the song up. Because they're not like us. We don't share the same bloodline. We don't share the same culture. Okay? All right? So after they killed Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, they threatened the Jewish music industry back in the 60s. They threatened James Brown, said, you got to get these niggers to stop going crazy because they're burning down every set. It was burning down everywhere. And he came out in 1968. But I'm black and I'm proud. We never. Because I told you in the 50s, if you call somebody black, those were fighting words. Okay? You was ready to die, ready to die. Okay? If somebody called you, I'm black and I'm proud. No, we was not proud of being black because we knew we were Indian. And black is an adjective. It's a description. We are noun. Okay? People, person, thing, spiritual being, having a human experience. That's who we are. Okay? We got all these frauds, these pretend Indians that look like me. They're good on social media, Facebook, all this saying that they're Indian. They know we're Indian. They have nothing. If you live in a house right now and you have a mortgage, even if the house is paid off and you have not been the grantee, the grantor, and you don't have none of your property, nothing in trust, you are a slave. And slavery is a choice, like Kanye West said. And I met Kanye West in Miami. I think it was, maybe 2012. They had the Super Bowl because my cousin's in the music business. And I gave him my card and I gave him my book. He was different then. That's when his mother was alive. His mother was still alive then. So, he knows it. They try to call him crazy, but he knows. He's like, we're not black. We're indigos. We're American Indian. We're a toxin. Ancient, like the sun. We are the sun children. That's why people were telling me, like I'm always in my garden. I just finished cleaning out my garden. Right there, I had to clean out all the weeds. And so people kept riding by and said, girl, get out the sun. Why are you in the sun? Because we are the sun children. Sun gives us energy. We get our power from the sun. Remember the movie Meteor Man? Okay? With Bill Cosby, and the meteor came down and he got all this power. Okay? The sun gives us power. Only people that do not have melanin have a problem and they get sun cancer. It was this chica, and when I say a chica, there's chicas that look like me, from Colombia, from Cuba, from Santo Domingo, from Puerto Rico, from Panama, from Guatemala, from Honduras. My daughter's grandfather is from Honduras. He is darker than me. Pops. Okay? The whole world was inhabited by people that look like me. In Africa, in the Central, North, South America, Canada, and Europe. That brother that I put up that post that says his tribe has been here from ever since, and he's darker than me. And he says, I'm not black. He goes, black is an adjective. He said that the royalty that looked like us, that came over from Europe, from England, that were kings and queens over in England, came to North America, Turtle Island, and they married in with his bloodline. Okay? So they're royalty. Okay? That's what you don't know. The original Europeans look like me. And if you go over to Europe, you will see the statues. What they did, they hit a bunch of our mounds, our pyramids. We have the most pyramids in the world. Okay? All of our statues, they destroyed them and they put up their stuff. They have just flooded their lives, and our people are too ignorant to do their own research. But it's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new life. Okay? So, had him at the Apollo after, yes, they had him. Yeah, they had Jesse Jackson at the Apollo after assassination. But I want to tell you something, because I had a shop in Harlem, Mart 125, 125th Street, directly across from the world famous Apollo Theater, okay, in Harlem. This is in the 80s. I don't even think I had my son yet. Yeah, I didn't have my son yet. This was right around the time when he started that African American stuff. So we in front, and it was Harlem Week. So, you know, the news reporters, they was there. The media was there. And so he was there. And so at first he was hugging all the people. Jesse Jackson, Jesse sellout Jackson. That's why you're in a wheelchair. Karma is real. And so he was hugging the people. Right after the cameras went away from him, he started pushing the people away. And me and my dad said, oh no, how dare you, Jesse? And he grabbed me to hug me because the camera people turned back around. I said, get off of me. My father said, don't touch her, move, get up. And so they said, what happened? I said, he's a fraud. I said, all he wanted to do, and they got me live on camera. I came out on the news. I said, all this man wants to do is hug us in front of the cameras. But he don't like his people, because he's the same one that conspired with the government to call us, reclassify us as African American. How can you be from a continent and a country at the same time? Two places. It's impossible, because we're not. And we're not them, and the Africans know. They come over here. You go to Harlem right now. Go to 116th Street. They stick together. They have their stores. They're so nasty. They're so mean. But you're no different from the Koreans and the Asians and the people from Bharat, a.k.a. Hindustan, that come over. Y'all all do the same thing. The whole world has conspired against the original people of the planet here on Turtle Island. The whole world has conspired against us because we live on the land of milk and honey. We're not going in your country massively, going to India, going to Africa, going to Colombia, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti. None of these places. We're not moving and leaving. Okay, we're not going nowhere. And Haiti, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Cuba is a part of the Americas. It's in North America. There was a sister, I don't even know if I should call her a sister, a woman. I was at the carnival in Miami. They have the West Indian Day. They have the West Indian Day Carnival, and we have it in New York every year, the West Indian Day Parade and Carnival in New York on Labor Day. Many, many years I participated because I was a part of the Rastafari culture. So me and my daughter, I never forget it, she was about 9 years old. We had just moved back from LA to Miami. And the sister had locks, beautiful, brown, darker than me, beautiful, dark chocolate sister. And so she said to me, so you's American? You's American? You's American? And I said, yeah. And I said, and so are you. She said, how you figure? I said, where you from? She said, Trinidad. I said, Trinidad is in South America? I said, you don't realize that you're born in South America? That makes you an American? You're from Trinidad? She said, me never look at it that way, I am. No, because you're not thinking. You're not thinking for yourself. You're under the spell of Rastafari, Selassie, Marcus Garvey, who was another propaganda sellout with the Black Star Liner. All this, they set people up to get us to get away from our land. Our ancestors still have patents on our land. That's why when they came up with Black Lives Matter, that came from the Bureau of Land Management, which has our land, and our ancestors patent our land. We have land. So we have to go to the Bureau of Land Management. And so they came out with that Black Lives Matter. Sweetie, we're not black. Black is an adjective. Okay, we're now Autochthon, original, indigenous, children of the sun, Cherokee, Mohawk, Mohegan, Blackfoot, Yamasee, Taino, Arawak, Chickasaw, Creek, Muskogee, and the list goes on and on. Okay? Yeah, they sell outs. They sell outs. Owlette, they are sellouts. And they're going to pay because, it's a new awakening. Our people are waking up, and now we know how to do the paperwork. Okay? I do. That's why I get rid of, when I see you a dud and you come along talking all this, I'm American Indian, I want to grow food, I want to do this and that, and you nothing but a chaos agent. You're drinking that fire water. You're just a sexual predator. All you want to do, let me tell you, your penis has not saved your land. Your penis has not run these people out of the country. If you're just thinking downstairs and not upstairs and you don't know that you got the power, don't get mad. Get your pen and your pad. Okay? I know the paperwork to do on these people. I know it. Okay? I will not be a tenant owning my house and think I own it and you're just a tenant. Most of these people think, yeah, we're still here, sister. We're still here. They think that they own their homes. They don't own nothing. This is why our land gets taken, houses. When parents transition and they pass on, the children be fighting, and then the property goes in probate because you did nothing. You did not put your property and all your assets under trust. Okay? The only law is trust law. And if you don't know trust law, shame on you. But you know everything else that really doesn't get you anywhere. So there's a new day coming. Great things are coming. But I just want to say that Kanye West is absolutely right. Woo, 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 woo. Shout out and big up to Kanye West allá. Porque Kanye West sabía, nosotros somos esta original, ¿ok? Entonces, mucha gente que tiene mi color no sabía nada, muy idiotas. Entonces, es nosotros problema porque tú es muy loca y loco también. Tú es muy ignorante, very ignorant. So, the original Latinos look like me. The original Asians look like me. The original Europeans look like me. The original Canadians look like me. Okay? You see, what's that guy that was fighting with Lamar, Kendrick Lamar? What's his name? What's that guy's name that was, and they was beefing, and he's from Canada. Okay? What's his name? And Kanye West had to tell him, you're a colonizer. Okay? Yeah, Drake. Thank you, sweetie. Drake. Thank you, Drake. Drake is a colonizer. He's just a Caucasian. He's from the Caucasus Mountains. Let me tell you, the obsession that they have against us. They love us and hate us at the same time. Okay? You go and you see over in Africa, they eat monkeys. We ain't never ate a monkey in our lives. The things that they eat, the things that they do. I've been to Africa 3 times. 3 times. Because I was in my Rastafari. Selassie, I live it every time. I was cast under the spell. I tell everybody, and my mother and father and my grandparents kept saying, we ain't African. You ain't African. You're American Indian. They kept letting me know the whole time. Okay? Yeah, his mother's Caucasian. Because this is white, sweetie. I ain't never saw nobody look like this yet. This is white. And this is a darker brown. This is not even black, but it's a dark brown. Okay, this is a dark brown. And this is why I made sure I put them on. Because that's what it is. You know what I mean? And so, as a result, um, they don't like us. They just want what we have. Our ancestor, exactly, Olet, called them pale face because they have a pale face. They're basically pink, beige, and tan. So all the Asians that you see that have that Caucasian skin, all the Latinos, the Mexicans, Guatemalans that have Hondurans, Colombians and Cubans, Dominicans that have that Caucasian and straight hair, they're all from the Caucasus Mountains. They're all from the cave. Okay? We civilized them. We taught them how to use soap and bathe. They were on all four. Okay? So, like Kanye West says, slavery is a choice. And 99% of y'all are modern day slaves. Okay? You own nothing. You think you do. You got 4 or 5 cars, 4 or 5 houses. My family, they got a whole, not my family, because they're not family. When you're not on the same frequency, you're not family. You're not a clan. There are relatives. There's a difference between relatives and family. I'm going to take it back and say my relatives. They think because they have fancy houses and fancy cars that they're not a slave. But all those contracts that you sign for the mortgage, for the house, the contract for the car, you are a slave. You own nothing. You're just a volunteer surety. That's all you are. Okay? And like I said, I'm just moving forward. Keeping moving forward because they have material things that they don't even know how to protect that part. They don't know how to protect their home, to protect their family, to protect their vehicles, to protect anything they have. They don't know because they're so busy being a property of the state. You get married at the courthouse, at the church and state work together. So you're property of the state. You have your children, you signed a birth certificate. That's not your child anymore. That's state property. That's why if you beat them and discipline them, the state can come from you, for you. The state's coming for you because that's the state property. You don't own your children. The state does. You know, so I agree, Kanye West. I agree. Slavery is a choice. We in 2025 and 99% of the indigenous, Autochthon, Aboriginal, copper color people are slaves, mental modern day slaves. They're so busy worshiping celebrities, athletes, anything that they think got money, and it's not real. The fiat is not real. Okay, it's not real. And so a lot of you are so ignorant that y'all want to curse me out. Y'all want to curse out Kanye West because you're a modern day slave. We're not. We're free. I told you the story about what's his name? O.J. Simpson. Okay? And you can look it up. They took him a civil case against him. They lost. All of O.J. Simpson assets was in his trust. So if you're on this page today and you want to come and remove that spell and you don't want to be, you've had it being a slave, a mental modern day slave, go study trust law. Go study trust law, because if you don't, you're in big trouble. And to all the men that's always on freaking Messenger and Facebook, sending me pictures of their penises, bruh, that's all you got? That's all you got is your penis? And your land has been taken from you? And all you want is a woman to take care of you? Negro, you are African American. You a slave. Because an African American ain't nothing but a 14th Amendment citizen, Executive Order 13037. That part. Signed by executive order by by um absent of color. Black means absence of color. Bill Clinton, who was a pedophile, him and his wife. They're all, like when I tell you the stuff that goes on, but you're so brainwashed. Y'all don't really take in the truth. The truth is very offensive. We're living in a fake world, fake breasts, fake butts, fake people saying, oh yeah, my grandmother was this, I'm American Indian. They only became American Indian because they seen me talking about it so long. Because, yeah, we are the first Hebrew Israelites. The Jewish people stole our culture, just like the $5 Indians stole our culture. So that is true. That's true. It really is true. The language was Hebrew and everything. But it doesn't matter if you're Hebrew, if you're Cherokee, and if you don't know the law and you don't know how to protect yourself, you know? But the whole world is against us. The whole world has conspired against us, but it's a new day because we're silently doing our paperwork. And we're not sharing it with none of y'all frauds because there's a lot of people that got my skin tone and complexions, got afros and everything, but guess what? They're pretend Indians. They ain't got nothing going. They're so stuck in this system, and they will see when stuff start happening and they start taking their properties, taking their land, all this stuff. That's when you want to run to me and say, oh, can you help me? Can you help me with the paperwork? No, ma'am, as they say in the dirty South. No, ma'am. And no, ma'am, as they say in Espanol. No, señora, no puedo hacer, no puedo, mi amor. Es no posible porque tú es una idiota. Tú no sabías nada. Es su problema, es no mía. Tú no liendo nada. Tú no entiende nada. Tú es un cuerpo con no mente. Este parte. That part. So, all skin folks ain't kin folks. That part. All skin folks ain't kin folks. That part. But it's a new awakening. I'm speaking to people. I'm speaking power to people that know who they are, that know about the paperwork, that overstand, understand, trust law. Okay, most of these people don't. They do everything by the books, including my son, who's a big time idiot. He does everything. When I purchased this tribal house and I purchased it cash, he gonna call me up and talk about, you don't have a deed, you don't have this. I said, son, I didn't take out a mortgage. I don't have a mortgage. Okay? It's cash. It's a whole different ball game when you buy a house cash. But that don't mean nothing anything. It still doesn't mean they still can take it from you. You have to put it in trust law. You have to. If not, they can take it, take your property and your land. So you can never say Chief Tanis Iskatani had to push Nitak on me. Didn't warn you. Because like this sister say, they got bones of a freaking dinosaur, but they have no slave ships. Because all the ships is them coming over here from Europe, from Ellis Island. You saw all them. They came over here as indentured servants. That's how they came over here, as indentured servants. That part. They came over here as indentured servants. That part right there. I was just looking for this lizard because the lizard is the dinosaur. It just ran through here, but I don't see it anymore. The lizard is the dinosaur that they be talking about, the dinosaurs and this. Ain't no dinosaurs. Just stop. But they always want to make it their world. There's been so many, like Spike Lee. He sold us out with his movies with all that African American, and then he put some parts in the movies where you would hear the guy say, I'm Blackfoot. You know, you would hear in the movies. And then back in the days, they showed back in like the 30s, the 40s, whenever back then, the 50s, you would hear they was having us dumbed down as ignorant. And they were like, no, sir, I's a Indian, sir. I's a Indian. You see it back days in the movies because slave exactly means Slavic. That comes over there, and you hear the Caucasian say, "We were the slaves. We were the Slavic." Okay, all right, but we can sell them the Brooklyn Bridge. That's how ignorant they are. You can sell them anything because they don't do their research. They just go off of what you tell them. This is why they don't know their ancestry. They don't know who their great grandmother and grandmother. I'm just so honored and privileged that I was born into a family where my ancestors, my great grandparents, and them never stopped telling us. And my parents, me and my dad is like this. My dad has his tribal ID, and my dad listens to me. My mom, that's a whole nother topic. She don't want to listen. My parents, when I was young, they weren't religious. They weren't Christians. They wasn't nothing. My father ended up getting married. He broke up with my mom. His wife was in the church, so he joined the church with her. My mother, she ended up joining the church. When I was an adult, So we went around. My uncle was with Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad Ali. He was in the Nation of Islam, so I got to meet them as a child. My uncle, who's 93, he joined the Nation of Islam back then, and Elijah Muhammad was American Indian. Uh, Farrakhan will tell you in a minute, American Indian. So they all know, but they're all sellouts. That's why they haven't killed Farrakhan, because Farrakhan is not saying anything that could wake us up, because he is on the payroll, all of them. And the biggest problems with our people is they're looking for a leader. And you are the leader. You are greatness. You are the gods and goddesses. The FBI had documents saying that the Black American is the original gods and goddesses of the world. So now you know why they so jealous of you. Okay? The whole world. What was those Africans when we was getting hosed down and beat down in the 60s? It was us with the civil rights movement and act made it possible for the whole world to come over here. Okay? Because I'm born 1962. None of y'all was over here. When I was a child, there was no Jamaicans, there was no Dominicans, there was only Puerto Rican and Haitians when I was young, when we was little in the 60s. That was it. There wasn't no Colombians, Argentina, Peru, and then in the 70s, there were Panamanians. Shout out to Soraya and Zaida Aguilar from Panama that looked like me, but that's when they all came. The Colombian gold, the good weed. Remember, Colombians came. But the original Colombians looked like me. The original Guatemalans look like me. The original Peruvians, Argentina. Shout out to my tribal son in Peru that wants me to come, and his wife, um, Amethyst, wants me to come and do my documentary, how they are attempting to erase the indigenous copper colored people over on those lands. Argentina, they went hard. I met a sister, curly hair, looked like me, from Argentina, and she told me a story. I nearly broke down and cried. She said they killed off so many of her people that look like me and you, sister Owlette. They killed them off, but they still there. You go to Asia, you go to China, you go to the suburbs, they look like me and you. Chinky eye, look like Brandy. Okay? I went to Indonesia, was shocked. We left the regular part with the Asian looking ones, because most of the people from Indonesia is from Bharat, Hindustan, from India. They came over there, they're there. So it's them and the Caucasian looking Indonesians. But the real Indonesians that look like me with stuff in their nose, indigenous or toxin, aboriginal, you don't see them. You have to travel on the outskirts in the rural area to find them living the same ancient way. So I just came on here to go live to let the world know that y'all all love and hate us at the same time. The whole world conspired against the original indigo, a toxin aboriginal, came over here, conspired with the government. They let you open stores in our hood, okay? You shot us down, got us locked up. They got videos. This African woman, young woman, said when she came, they came through Egypt. She said, you come through Egypt when you come into this country. And she said, it was so funny. She said, they show you two tapes when you get in, they letting you come through and you get your, come your visa to come over here. She said, they show you two tapes. One about 9/11, and the second tape about do not trust Black Americans, aka now African Americans. And that's why I had to send a letter to Trump. I'm not African Americans. He's like, the African Americans built this country. No, we always was here. Okay? All right? We are the Atlanteans. We're everything that our culture was here. We built every college you see, every castle you see, we built it. It was no freaking African American. Cut it out, Trump. Stop playing. This place was here when y'all got here. We've been here from billions, from eternity. We always been here. The oldest Y chromosome in the world traces back 360,000 years from Albert Perry. His family thought they were so-called African American, found out when they exhumed his body and took it that he had the oldest Y chromosome in the world. It came from South Carolina. It proved that the African American is it wiped out that theory. Okay, it debunked the theory that we are African American. It showed that we have our own distinct DNA. And you know what that is? O negative and O positive. My aunt, rest in power, my aunt Ida, who always told me I was American Indian, she was in the hospital last year in October. And I was there with her every day, every night. I was there for her because I'm the medicine woman of the family. And so it was an African girl from Benin. She was a nurse. And so I said to her, I said, sis, so what's your blood type? She said, AB negative. Okay. AB and A is for the Asians and the Africans. They're the same people. Okay. They're the same people. That's why they don't even want to tell you your blood type now. But you're your blood type. Whatever your mama is, you are. Okay? You is. Okay? There's a lot of stuff they don't want us to know. Like Kanye West said, slavery is a choice. And I'm going to show you some receipts. I'm going to show you some receipts now. So, we'll stop debunking. We're going to debunk these lies. Okay. Black Americans' DNA at the center of discovery. The oldest DNA recently traced to Albert Perry from South Carolina. Geneticists were stunned to find his DNA dates back 338,000 years, which was the oldest known genetic branch of the human Y chromosome. His DNA shattered the out of Africa theory and proved the biblical Adam and Eve is a complete fallacy. It also proved that Black Americans have what? Their own distinct DNA, which is O negative and O positive. This is what an American Indian looks like. Okay, they done took all our artifacts. Okay, here we have who won? Hyper advanced space traveling Black Olmecs, because everything, even AI is our technology. Some northern cave bros with sticks. The cave beats won unfairly by forcing us to become colored and African American. We ain't from Africa. We are the originators of civilization via the Americas. Paper genocide. That part. Okay, we're going to go over here to the biggest identity thefts. This man right here, Greg, is the chief of the Seminole. I'm Seminole. How can he be Seminole? This man, Bill John, how can he be the principal chief of the Cherokee? This man, George Tiger, chief of the Creek Nation? How can he be? How can Gary Dell be the chief of the Choctaw Nation, and him and Bill be the chief of the Chickasaw? How? Because these three dangerous men right here, Melville Herkowitz, created the genocidal lie of American Negroes coming from African slaves only, changing their cultural identity. Okay, Walter Pleckler, eugenist, took away the American Negro Indians' benefits and gave it to white and Caucasian Mexicans. And then Alex Hedrickler, eugenist, changed the picture of the original Indians from Negroes to Mongoloid Asian. And that lady looks like my great grandmother when she says, when you say you're African because white institution said so after she told you that she's indigenous to the Americas. This is one of the propagandists right here. Mama Africa. And you see, they murdered him too. They get you, they use you, then they murder you. Okay, now, here is the oldest woman they found in South America, Lucia. Okay, remember her DNA? Okay, this is Lucia. This is my tribe, my family. Oh, she looked like me, Yamasee Seminole. That's who I am. The oldest Atoxan Palo-American skull, along with 250 other similar skulls found in Brazil, South America. The DNA on her bones phenotypically match Negroid populations. African ancestry DNA companies can only trace 0.01% of Black Americans' DNA because the rest of the 99% is their own distinct DNA. These same eugenist companies purposely use pale recessive mongoloid samples as Native Americans to test you. Okay, this is the Yamasee, okay, the Aboriginal population in America who share the same genetic trace are now reclassified as African American, Afro-Mexican, Afro-Tsunamis, Afro-Brazilian, etc. Afro is just a hairstyle, okay, by foreign colonialists to control them, their land, and keep them disenfranchised. And this is my favorite right here. Between, you see the beautiful chieftainess from the Chata Chekfunka tribe. Look how beautiful. Her feather like me, looking like me. Between 1492 and 1900 and prior, before eugenics reclassification, a so-called Black woman and her people were known as the indigenous people of America. At least 20 European explorers and earliest U.S. anthropologists documented the indigenous people of the America, resembling the misnamed Black woman. When the renamed Black woman was known as the indigenous woman, she owned all of America with her identity. You heard that? With her identity. Ever since her identity was reclassified, let me go back. With her identity, she had land, autonomy, indigenous nations, and lived free in harmony with nature. Ever since her identity was reclassified to a color, she lost her land, no longer legally exists, and has been the most abused and unprotected on her own land. And that's why they always showing us our booties and stuff. Here's my best friend, Chief Eagle Eye. This is what a real full-blooded Indian looks like. He's going on 85, feathers up. And this is what we have. There's Africans, there's Asians, there's Americans, and then there's Australians, okay? 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 Let's just stop it. Okay, let's just stop the bull crap. This is what they did to us. The confusion of the American Negro. Through the years, this nation's dusty race has been known by many names. In the 1900s, Blacks seized the opportunity to be officially recognized in an undeniable, honest way with the collective title of African American. Perhaps if this is sensible trend continues, we can soon look forward to addressing this group with even more inappropriate names. The 1600s, we were the original American Indian. 1700s, savages. 1800s, niggers. 1900s, darkies. 1910, picnies. 1920, coons. 1930s, spooks. 1940s, boys. 1950s, I told you, colored. 1960s, Negroes. So when James Brown made the song in 1968, I'm Black and I'm Proud, we weren't black then. We were Negroes. Martin Luther King said the Negro. He didn't say black, he said Negroes. 1970 brothers, 1980s blacks, 1990s African American. The 2000s now, we're just original, okay? This is the book, The American Negro of the Great Plains, were black with woolly hair in the 1506 by Professor Constantine Rafizik, okay? And this is part excerpts from his book. Here he is. He wrote this book, Professor Constantine Rafizik, The Primitive Black Nations of America, 1832. Okay, guys, we're in 2025, all right? This fact of old black nations in America will be new, yet merely an important feature of black American history. I will merely enumerate the black tribes of which I have found traces and remains in North and South America. Of the Karas, Kumas were black, but with fine and long hair like the Jolofs and Galos of Africa. Latitude Asteros 32, like the Hottentots and the Tambukis and many other Negritan tribes. Dark brown, yet Negroes with large, thick, broad, flat noses and very ugly. The nerve, look at him. And very ugly. With hair crisp or curly. All these tribes live where? In New California. California, that's Snoop Dogg, that's Ice Cube, and all of them. California is named after American Indian goddess, Khalifa, okay? American Negroes of Guanqua and Chocho, the Great Plains, 900 miles wide, separating the Andes and the heads in the 1506. They are mentioned by Danglera, all the early accurate writers. The Yamasee, which is my tribe of Yamasees, were remarkably black people. Notices of Florida, my family's from Florida, and the Campaigns, which is North Carolina, South Carolina. Ancient Caracoles of Haiti, represented as a nation of beasts by the historical song. They don't say Jamaica, they say Haiti, okay? The Surnames of the Caribs, called Black Caribs or Guanis by others. The Ancos, Curatas, mentioned by Garcia, and the West Indies, quite black. Oros, Role, Uras of the Spaniards, ugly brown Negroes yet existing near the Aranco, and known savages called monkeys by their neighbors. Okay, the Lupas, Portuguese, Neves, the Motas, the Quinifes, all of Brazil, brown Negroes with curly hair under the name of Chunas, Guanas, and Chinos. Okay, Durante, ugly black or red Negroes. That's what the girl said. The one that I was telling you about, she said when she came into America and she came through Egypt, she said, we don't know them as African Americans. She said, in Africa, we know them as the Red Indians. That's what she said. And they know that we're the Red Indians and we're the original indigos of this land. And so, all right, we did the West Indies. Okay, now, curly hair. Under the name of Chanas, Guanas, or Chinos, Mambis and Popayans, and Colombia, blackish with Negro features in hair, Guabas, Jaras, Talagualapala, near the Honduras, like I told you. The enslaved Esteros of New California, ugly blackish Negroes. Black Indians met by the Spaniard and where? Louisiana, when? In 1543. Okay? Moon-eyed Negroes and albinos destroyed by the Cherokees and seen in Panama. Case closed. Break the spells. Peru is Tawawanati Sui. Mexico is Tochochitlán. Mississippi is Miss ZB. Virginia is Tesna Comancha. Tennessee is Tanaski. Carolina is Chicora. Chile is Chichili. Texas is Tejas. Florida is Tequesta. I'm here in Alabama is Albaamo. Give the ancestors back their name and break the spell. Get Hollywood out of your head. This is what the indigenous people of America look like. Look at that, how dark that man is. And we have it right here. African American is a government term, property, not a race of people. Property has no race classification. Property has no human rights. Example, Trayvon Martin was considered property owned by the United States of America, which is a corporation, and he had no human rights. African American is a 14th Amendment citizen, made property by executive order 13037, signed into law by who? Bill Clinton. Now, in 2010, a so-called African American black discovered that his family bloodline was type O, like many dark people living in Memphis, and his family descended from Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas regions, which is the historic homeland to hundreds and thousands of dark-skinned indigenous people who the Spanish invaders called Indians or Indios. Remember, I just said Indios. Unfortunately, because they were dark Indians, the U.S. legally, unlawfully classified each as Negroes. So when I tell you that we were originally here, always here, the documents are here. This is my best friend, Chief Eagle Eye, the original man of America, okay? He knows he's going on 85 years young. He's like amazing. I'm going to show you. Oh, I meant to show you this. Black inventors and their inventions. We're in the 1800s. Look at the dates. 1817. What did he invent? The traffic signal and the safety helmets that you wear. Okay? 1892. 1867. Okay? This is black inventors and their inventions. Every last thing that you use. You know what they did with this? They turned it into a book and said African Americans and their inventions. This is the brainwash that our people are cast under the spell. Okay? But let me tell you something about the Africans. The Africans are reclassified. Nigeria is named after a woman. Okay? A Caucasian woman. Congo. Oh, I apologize. The sound did go out. Thank you for that because I hit the thing. So I got to go back again because the sound just went out. So I have to go back. I do that sometimes and I need to look. I'll be talking. I get so excited. I get overwhelmed. So now I have to go back. I think when I touched it right here to show you what Chief Eagle Eye did. Chief Eagle Eye made that. Chief Eagle Eye made that. Chief Eagle Eye, Original Man, Chief Eagle Eye. That's his book. And then I showed you him here. Okay. I read this to you. Hopefully you guys got to hear about her between 1492 and 1900 and prior, before eugenics reclassified the so-called black woman and her people were known as the indigenous people of America. At least 20 European explorers and earliest U.S. anthropologists documented the indigenous people, and they misnamed the black woman. And when they renamed this black woman, known as the indigenous woman, she owned all of America with her identity. She had land, autonomy, indigenous nations, and lived free in harmony with nature. Ever since her identity was reclassified to a color, she lost her land, no longer legal exists, has been the most abused and unprotected on her own land. And there's this sister from the Chata Tuklafuma. I don't know if this went out on you. Oh, I didn't even show you this. 98% of African Americans are in fact Native Original American Indians and owed millions. And I didn't show you this one. This fictional image was created by white abolitionists to brainwash and confuse and distort the legacy of black Americans. Okay? Propaganda is information, ideas, or rumors deliberately spread widely to help or harm a person, group, movement, etc. A word that has just been introduced into the English vocabulary in the early 18th century. But by the end of the 18th century, white abolitionists were using this tactic widely as it provided results. So I showed you her. My sound may have went out, but you can read it and see, break the spells. These are the original names of Peru, Mexico, Mississippi, Virginia, Tennessee, Carolina, Chile, Texas, Florida, Alabama, where I'm at now, which is Alabama. Give their ancestors back their name. And then I read you this in 1832 about the indigenous primitive nations, Negroes here in the Americas. Okay, they talked about the Yamasee, the Jamasees. They talked about Haiti. They talked about Colombia. They talked about Panama. They talked about in Louisiana in 1543. Okay, Black Indians met by the Spaniards in Louisiana, in California, the Cherokees, and in Panama. But they were calling us ugly. You see, very ugly, broad, flat, no. Now, who are you to call somebody ugly and look at you? Now, really look at you. And you gonna call somebody ugly? Boy, bye. And they say all the accurate writers wrote about the Yamasees, which is my tribe, Yamasees and stuff. I told you about that. Then I showed you get Hollywood out of your hair. And then before the Dolls Act of 1887, this is what. See, this is a crayon. Indian red. See us? Okay. I told you about her, the oldest. Okay. African ancestry DNA companies can only trace 0.0% of Black Americans' DNA because the rest of the 99% is their own distinct DNA. The same eugenics companies purposely use pale, recessive Mongoloid samples as the Native Americans to compare to us. That's my tribe. Yamasee Seminole, the oldest Autochthon Paleo-American phenotype. This is from South America, North America. Okay, this is what we look like. So when they say that we want to take their culture and history, girl, boy, bye. These are we're the only people that had all these reclassifications of name. This is why we are confused, because they just keep naming us. Like I told you, in the 60s, we were Negroes. We didn't come blacks until 1980s. Okay? You call somebody in the 50s and the 60s black, those are fighting words. They were fighting words. Okay? Not only did they steal our land, they stole our culture. I showed you that. Okay, just in case it was on mute. I showed you here, Black Americans' DNA at the center of discovery. The oldest DNA recently traced to Albert Perry, a deceased black man from South Carolina. That's where my ancestors are from. Geneticists were stunned to find his DNA dates back 338,000 years, which was the oldest known genetic branch of the human Y chromosome. His DNA shattered the out of Africa theory and proved the biblical Adam and Eve is a complete fallacy. It also proved that black Americans have their own distinct DNA. And what is that? That is O negative and O positive. Okay? And I'm O negative, the mother of civilization. Because O negative is a universal donor. I can give blood to the world. So what does that make me? The mother, la madre, okay? The muma, that part. So I'm going to click it so I don't go off on this. So it says, who wins here? Hyper advanced space, traveling, black Omex. That's why we got AI and everything. Everything comes. We built all this stuff. Some northern bros with sticks in the caves. The cave beats won. Unfair by forcing us to become colored and African American. We ain't from Africa. We are the originators of civilization via the Americas, paper genocide. So that's basically what has happened to us is paper genocide. I showed you this, all the great inventions, everything that you can think of from the 1800s. Look, this is the real McCoy right here. Okay, 1800s, all this, everything that you think of that you're using, from the toilet bowl to the phone to the cell phone, okay? Everything that you're using. These are all the places in America where our tribes dwell, okay? This is where we were, all right? This is the thieves, some of identities theft. This man, Craig, took the Seminole. You just saw Seminole, okay? The Chickasaw, okay? The Choctaw, it's impossible. The Creek Nation, it's impossible. The Cherokee, impossible. But these are the three most dangerous men. They changed genocidal lie of us coming from Africa and changing our cultural identity. Walter Plecker took away the American Negro Indian benefits and gave it to the Caucasian Mexican. And this guy, Alex Hidrikala, changed the picture of the original Indians from Negro to Indians to Mongolo-Asians, okay? So this is when your grandmother tells you, when you say, oh, you're an African because white institutions said so, after she told you out of her mouth that she's indigenous to America, okay? And this is one of the people that came with the propaganda, Bob Marley. Mama Africa, stolen from Africa. Born to America. No, no. And listen, I was part of the Rastafari culture. I mean, I could show you. I got so many pictures. Both of my children father are Rasta. This is one from Jamaica. That's my shop in Harlem. My son, who's just out of it now, not in tune. My daughter father, rest in power, Rastafari. But he knew that he was Choctaw. His mother's from Mississippi. His father's from Honduras. He knew he was Choctaw. We both knew we were American Indian. But we was on that Rastafari spell. But I look great because of the diet and the liberty. This is right at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. Me, my son, my daughter. Me and my son and my son's father from Jamaica. But his mother was from India, Bharat, Hindustan. His father was from Jamaica, which his father was either Taino or Arawak, and the mother was Hindustan. See what I'm saying? And you saw those people behind me? Those people, they never. None of those people back in the days at the Apollo, they wasn't talking about no Africa. It was Louis Armstrong, who sang What a Wonderful World and played the saxmo. If you know, he went over to Africa and taught them how to play the saxophone. Everything we have taught the world. So y'all, like I was saying, the title of this live is Kanye West is right. He's right. Slavery is a choice. And 99% of our people are cast under the spell of slavery because this is white, this is dark brown. It's even darker than my hair, okay? It could even pass for black, but we're not the same complexion, okay? My hair's brown, okay? This is black. That's black. So break the spell, break the chains, and everybody got mad at Kanye West because Kanye West said, thank you, Sister Olette. Thank you so much. And thank you, Soul Era, for telling me the sound went out. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad I looked in and saw you. And you said he looked like your pops. Yeah. So let me tell you, I got all the receipts. I stayed debunking the lies. And like I told y'all, when y'all go on my thing, I done been through people that came here that pretended they want to be down for the tribe. They look like me. All they doing is thinking downstairs. They're just sex freaks. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to build nothing. They just want to drink alcohol, get drunk, smoke cigarettes. No healthy diet, nothing. Our people are really chaos agents and they're in a sad situation. But there's a lot of us now that are doing great things. Like I told you, most of y'all on this feed think you own your house, think you own your car. You own nothing. Because if you go the systematic way, like my son, he has like 4 property. He thinks he owns it. Bruh, you just a tenant. My mom, my sister, my brother, all of them, my cousins, they all own mansions, this, that. You don't own it. You didn't sign as the grantee. You signed as the grantor. So you're just a tenant. Just like when you buy a car, it's the same thing. They get you in the system. They make you think you're not a slave because you own material things that they're going to take back as soon as something happens. Miss a payment, you're going to lose it. Shout out to Chief Maya. I told her don't buy that house in Geneva, Florida. I told her to sign as the grantee. I said sign on the front of the mortgage as the grantee and as the grantor. She didn't listen to me. She was like, "Oh, what did she say? Oh, the what's the name agent? The what you call it? The ones that give you the loan, the title agent, the title agent. They told her, oh, if you sign it like that, you are going to lose. They're going to have it is invalid. Oh, I meant to show you this too. Hold on. Chief Eagle Eye. Sister gave me this from Ethiopia. Shout out to Ra. Chief Eagle Eye made that. Another sister from Cuba gave me that. People just keep giving me that. That's my aunt that always told me we was indigenous and a toxin. Another sister painted this of me. Another brother gave me this as a gift. Another brother painted this for me. And as I showed you, Chief Eagle Eye painted this. And another brother from California painted that as well. So, like I was telling you, our people are cast under a spell. And as long as you under the spell, you're going to see that you're not going nowhere. And that's why our people will never go nowhere until they get away from this spell. And no, trust law. The key word is trust law. Okay? Because most people don't understand or understand that in trust law, everything, you own everything. And most people don't know the IRS. When you think you're paying taxes to the IRS, guess what? It's connected to the king and the queen. When you go in these municipal court, civil court, it's all connected to the king and the queen. Our people is lost by lack of knowledge. What you don't know will hurt you. And they don't, like Trina and Trick Daddy said, You don't know now. You don't know now. You don't know anything. Nothing at all. And I just want to shout out my People's Soul Era because all the time on my feed and stuff, and a lot of things have transpired. I work with great Yamasee sisters and people that we serious about this paperwork. We're doing what we got to do because, like I told you, the Africans conspired with the Biden administration and now want to get part of our money, and we're not connected. We're not. Okay, I don't want to live in Africa. I've been to Africa 3 times. Why would I want to live there? Like why? There's not. I mean, the Asians, the Caucasians, and the Arabs have taken over that country. They run everything. So why would I want to go from one oppressed country to another? Go to Africa. They like, come home. Come, boy, girl, bye. I went there. The military was looking at me like, you better not misplace that passport, else you're gonna be locked up abroad. You know the show? Locked up abroad. Honey, I didn't, and they were not nice. Just like when you go to 116th Street, 125th Street, you see them now owning all the stores, like the Asians and the Arabs and all the other foreigners, because that's what this country do. Bring all these people over here to make money off of us and stuff. But at least now, when it was Oprah, it was another, had Trump back in the days and said if he would be president, and the first thing he said, he would stop all these foreigners coming over here making money while the Americans stay poor. That part, okay? Because most of our people is running off. All our people, they just want to be a music. They want to be a rap artist. They want to be an entertainer. They want to be sports. They don't want to do anything with their brain. Nothing. You see the AI technology that they're doing? That comes from our technology. We've been flying into space. Our ancestor and our ancestry is ancient like the sun. Just like people say, oh, girl, why are you in the sun? I be in my garden. They're like, yo, get out that sun. We are the sun people. We are children of the sun. The sun gives us power and energy. Just like I said, when they had the movie Meteor Man, okay, Robert Townsend, shout out to him. He did the movie Meteor Man. He did the 5 Heartbeats. He did movies that was good. He didn't do no movies labeling us African American like Spike Lee and all of them. They all did that milk commercial, got milk, Shaq, all of them with the milk around them. Honey, they were putting poison in our communities with the milk. I mean, and you see all the children with the green and the yellow pus coming out their nose. They have done so much to us, but the gig is up. We're in the age of truth for 2,153 years. And all these chaos agents that have come around me and shuck and jive and pretend. Yep. Yeah, because you lactose intolerance, because we're supposed to drink coconut milk, almond milk, hemp milk, oat milk, plant-based, okay? No other animal, you don't see a raccoon drinking a squirrel's milk. You don't see a frog drinking a cricket's milk. You don't see a dog drinking a cat's milk, okay? Make it make sense. It's no good. And the people are ignorant. That's what I loved about the Rastafari culture. I have no regrets being Rasta. The only thing they was on that Africa, and then it was a whole bunch of other Rastas that came away, freaking mosquitoes, came away from the Rasta. They came away, and they started going into their Taino and their Awawart. And I love those Rastas in Jamaica. There's shout out to this beautiful sister that hit me up on Facebook. The chief Thomas, because after once people know that you see them, hey, how you doing? All right, take care, Junior. As they see you I say, have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. All right, the dogs are good. They're secure. All right, see you soon. And so, because a lot of people here in this town, they know that I'm a chief of a tribe. And so when the fraud came down here and pretended that he was for this tribe and all this stuff and everything, and then he got exposed, and then he went on social media and talked about me like a dog, and he says, I don't know of no women chief. Well, in this country, when you see the ancient pictures of the Americas, okay, you're going to see women. When they came over, we always been chiefs. But this is when you know people don't know, okay? We're the mother, the mother. What is the earth? The mother. So when people don't know, they say stuff because they're angry, because they have no culture. I've been knowing I was Indio all my life. Indigo, Indio, ancient, a toxin, all that I've been knowing my whole life. And you see, these Caucasians, when they see me, they say, oh, I always want to be Indian. I was in Home Depot. This Caucasian lady going to tell me, Shannon, she was like, oh, my somebody in her family is Indian and this, that, the other. I said, well, the only way they can be if they mix with us, okay? Because we are the original. We are the original. That's the only way, okay? That's the only way they could be. And like that brother said, that he said the other day, that brother said, I posted up on my Facebook, his family is ancient. He's darker than me. This man said that his tribe, they went all the way to the coast of Mexico. So that's showing you the real Mexicans look like me and you. The ones that you see now that they're bringing over here, those are Caucasians, okay? They are Caucasians. That's who they are, you know? So we've been bamboozled, and I have to watch that movie again with, who wrote that? Oh, the Wayans. They did the movie Bamboozle. And I never got it, okay? Because Hollywood and stuff, in order to do these movies, you got to go along. There's so many of them blacklisted, like Monique. They want to blacklist, what is his name? Lorenzo Tate, because he didn't want to take those low-life roles. Once he played in Boys in the Hood, they always want to stereotype us. Hollywood, aka Hollywood, the pedophile industry, always wants us to pay lower because they know that we're the original, we are the greatest people on this planet. It don't get no greater than us. You have to know that you are greatness. My blood type is O negative. That puts me right here, Turtle Island, okay? Right here. The mother, the mother, the mother, as we say in New York, Nueva York, the mother. So I know that I'm greatness. I walk with my head up high all the time. And I know my history and culture. I live it. I have it all around me. Everywhere you see, you read it. When people come at me, I just shut them down. As they say here in Aliambo, which is Alabama, right, so, original, the original, in Espanol, original, you know, and I get so many brothers and sisters from Peru, Argentina, Venezuela, telling me, come to my country, because they want to wipe out our history and culture, because they look like me, and some of them, because they forced them, and, you know, with the Caucasian looking one, they got curly hair, whatever. But those are the ones that go hard because their grandmothers look like me and you and was darker. You see what I'm saying? So when Kanye West said, slavery is a choice, it is. 99% of y'all on social media are walking, living, talking slaves. You're modern day slaves. You don't want to learn something. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to worship. And with these people that's putting you in the spell, that's casting the spell on you. Okay? Shout out to Isaiah Thomas. That was his last season on that, it was like an ESPN show that he had, a sports show with him and his other brother. That was, because I'm not, you know, I'm not really too much into sports like that. I don't really, but, you know, I grew up with sports and stuff. But like he said, all of us didn't come over from Africa, him and the other brother, and they always played it. It goes viral all over social media. Isaiah Thomas said, in 1492, we were here. And then the other brother said, and Shaq was sitting there, and a couple of other, they ain't say a word because they're slaves, modern day slaves. And the other brother said, we have technology now. We have we in the age of information. Start tracing, go back and look and find who you are. Because as Isaiah Thomas kept saying, we was always here. We was always here. We was always here. So I did that guy, the basketball player, Nate, that got beat up by the boxer. Remember him? I did his hair, his locks in Miami before he got beat up by the boxer. He came and he saw all my stuff that you see here that I have. I had it in my house in Miami. And he said, oh, you remind me of Isaiah Thomas. I said, really? How? He was like, yeah, because Isaiah Thomas is always saying that we're the original Americans and that we was always here. And so after he said that, somebody sent me a post with the post, and every time people send it to me, I always post it up. But Nathaniel, most of them in the sports are clueless, and they have to. Like Tyson, no. That nickel, that's coin that I showed you with the Indian red, that looks like Tyson. They have so Tyson, he has a podcast. He had LL Cool J, who is from the Shinnecock Nation, who Chief Eagle Eye took me. Old Dirty Basket, Shinnecock Nation. One of the other, the Wu-Tang Clan, Shinnecock Nation, LL Cool J, and Flavor Flav, Shinnecock Nation, American Indian. And it's a lot of them. Look how they did Africa Bambaataa, who they now say is a pedophile, was horrible. I did a lot of work with him. I made the big Zulu Nation stuff because I was Rasta. I was cast under the spell, I tell y'all. And I got everything to prove it. I could show y'all anytime. But I broke the spell. And my parents are alive and they're happy, especially my dad. My mom, she's, but it is what it is. Modern day slaves. Slavery is a choice. But my dad is all the way there. He tell people, listen, because he told me the story about my great-grandmother, Salika, and my great-grandfather, James Aubrey Nicholas. We are related to the famous Nicholas brothers, the tap dancers. They don't tap dance in Africa. My ancestry is from the Nicholas brothers, who end up marrying Dorothy Dandridge, and they had a Down syndrome baby. Why? Because they gave that baby the vaccine. That baby wouldn't have had autism. The reason why most of our children and everybody in Hollywood children are getting autism because they're giving them that vaccine. And when you get the vaccine, and I posted it up, and I need to put that up on my wall, a Caucasian wrote in the 1800s that when they started, the early 1900s, giving us vaccine is to take your soul and your spirit. Okay? The body is a miraculous healing mechanism. If I cut my finger right now, it's going to bleed a few minutes and then it's going to make a scab. It's going to heal itself. Okay? But they gave us the vaccine so that your children, everything, so they have no soul. So most of these people are unconscious. You have no conscious, and the world is basically unconscious because of the vaccinations that has been given. And that's one thing about the Rasta culture I love. We were anti-vaccine. We was everything natural. So I have to give a big shout out to the Rasta community, but I'm going to shout out the Arawaks and Taino Rastas in Jamaica. And the sister, she is the chief, beautiful female. Her name is Gloria. A sister just hit me up on Facebook and we started talking. They was like, we honor and respect you. You going hard. And we all waking up and knowing. And we had a big ceremony for the chief, the Taino chief in Jamaica. Those Jamaicans now, they running away from that Selassie, Africa, you are African, because they brainwashed the whole world. All that we all came on ships, there's no ships. But when you Google the Caucasians coming over to America on the boats, oh my God, there's so many ships, okay? They took us from here and shipped us over there. It was the other way around, and people need to get that. So when Kanye West says that slavery is a choice, it is, because most of you are brainwashed. You're cast under a mental spell, and most of you are modern day slaves. If you got married at the church, if you got married at the courthouse, you're a slave. You're state property. African American is state property, right? If you bought your house and you have a mortgage, even if your house is paid off, you're still a modern day slave. You don't own that house. Because guess what? If you don't put it in what? My sisters and brothers that's on here, that's listening, trust law, you don't own nothing. And that's what OJ did in the OJ Simpson's case. And that's why he's so hated, because those Caucasians could not take his assets in the civil case, which is connected to the king and the queen. The IRS is connected to the king and the queen. All court cases, you have to go in equity. Equity is the only resolution where the judge is your friend. They stopped teaching equity in the colleges. They don't want you to know equity law, which is trust law, which is nature, the natural law. So I always educate y'all, uplift y'all. They always was calling me a conspiracy theorist when I was, they called me that. And shout out to Sister Gayla. She said, oh, thank you. I'm in such a much better place. It was a lot. It was like a nightmare on Elm Street. He was Freddy Krueger. There were buzzards coming around my house on the trees when that person was here. I never say their name anymore. They end up marrying a alcoholic woman here that came into money. They were together for 3 months. They got married. He's going to dog her out, but that's her lesson. It's not mine. Because I don't do that. I'm on a higher level. I know my paperwork. I know everything. I don't mess with that fire water. I be cheap and puff, pass. That's our culture. And so I always been on this frequency, but that's what happens when you love your culture and your people, and we start taking people in that look like us. Just like you said, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. That was a pretend Indian, looking like me, talking the talk, but not really living it. And like I have to shout out my dad, because when that person wanted to marry me, immediately my dad said, no, you can't marry him. My dad said, let him come and see. He said, y'all might not even get along in the house. Y'all might not even get along. And so a month and a half he was gone, because I couldn't take that demonic, low frequency, not knowing, clueless about what's going on. I don't hang with clueless people. I don't hang with people that's a water the state. In the event that I was going to get married to that person, I was going a whole nother way. I was not going to the church, not going to the courthouse. We were doing it the autoxin original way. And everything we do is under trust law. He was clueless about any of that. So much gratitude. Yep. That you said it right. All that. These energies are vampires. All they want to do is have sex. They only think with their penis. That's it. And have your penis saved the world? Has your penis got back the land? And half of them smell disgusting down there. Okay, and you want people doing all kind of stuff to your penis, and your hygiene sucks. Okay, that makes you a modern day slave. Slavery is a choice. And most of these people that come and say, I'm American Indian, I'm this, that, boy, girl, bye. You ain't nothing but a modern day slave. Like my boy Kanye said, slavery is a choice. Now I'm just staying focused. You know how many men in this town, and your father, I be in my garden, I just cleaned out all the weeds right there where my watermelon is. I got like 2 watermelons left, right? They pull up in their car. They tell me how they want to sit on my porch and talk with me. They talk about, are you married? This is a small town, 12,000 people. Everybody know what happened to me. They know that he ended up marrying another person like himself, low frequency, energy. Just they on the same vibe. They're slaves, which is a choice. They don't know anything about nothing, about paperwork, about trust law, nothing. Okay, they think they own a house. They think they own their car. Honey, let something happen to you. And you see how the government take it all back. That's all they've been doing us forever. We went from 1920 to having 20 million acres of land. 20 million acres of land in 1920. How did they take it? Because it wasn't under trust law. And if you don't know trust law, you're going to see. And that's what we're doing. I'm just with tribal people that think like me on the same frequency and the energy page. After all that happened to me, because I brought Danny here, he was from Brazil. He came, he wanted to be my tribal son, stole from me, Everybody that has come that said they want to be American Indian that came to this tribal house right here, all have been frauds. I only got one tribal son. Shout out to my tribal son that I met through the Buzzard, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, Johan. He's from New Orleans and he grew up all his life in New Orleans. You saw it said Louisiana in 1506. They know from a child that they're Indian. They have Mardi Gras dressing up like Indians. So he knows. He knows. So I don't have to tell him. And he talked him to come down here to do this. And then he found out that he was a fraud. He knew this guy for 13 years. He came to Louisiana, New Orleans, everything. Shout out to Stephanie. He was with her. The same thing. We call them chaos agents. And I get that name from my brother, Mikael. This brother is a great genealogist. He's so amazing. Mikael, he knows, he gives me a wealth of information. Half of it I haven't put on my walls or anything. We're using it. So when we go to the ICJ, the Internal Court of Justice, the World Court, and then we go to the BLM, not Black Lives Matter, the Bureau of Land Management, that is the real. Like our people, they ride around in fancy cars. They're so brainwashed. They're slaves. Like Kanye West said, these people in this town, 99% of them is a choice. Slavery is a choice. They're slaves. People thinking they're free, but you're a martyr and slave. And my mom used to always say that when we were growing up. She would say, y'all think y'all free? We ain't free. We're martyr and slaves. My mother said it our whole lives, but you know what? She's right. And then she won't break the spell, break the chain, and do her paperwork. And you can lead the horse to the water. Unfortunately, you cannot make the horse drink it. So now I'm doing me and people that's on my frequency in the Yamasee tribe. There's a lot of these chiefs that's on here. I'm not even going to call their names. They're clueless to the paperwork. They talking, they paste up all this, but they lent everything. They just want recognition from the government. The government, no government was here. We govern ourselves. Screw the government. Yep. Oh, you would be perfect out here, soul. You'd be so perfect. Let me just show you a little bit of my stuff right now. I got to make sure when I turn the camera that I don't turn off the sound, but I'm going to pay attention now. Okay, so I planted this today. This is cactus. I planted that today there. This was a cedar tree that they had chopped down. This is all the stuff that I got up out of here that was in here, because I only have 2 watermelons left. And then, hey, how you doing? And then I planted this cactus that was hanging over here. This is an oak tree, and this tree got struck by lightning. It got struck by lightning, okay? And I have put these here as babies. I got this from Brother John in Atlanta. He gave me these. But you see, this, it makes a fruit. This is a fruit right here. That's a fruit. That's a fruit right there. It comes very red, and you can make it into a juice. It's so red it looks like, I think they use that in the movies for blood, like beets, because that's how it looks, but it's so good. You put it with lemon, lime, ginger, delicious, nutritious. And as you can see, always representing the tribe, okay? Always. And I'm a notary here, okay? Always representing the tribe, always growing food. See there? And even I just took the squash. I had squash. I had a lot of watermelons that I have. And then on the other side, I have 5 gardens. I have 5 of them. But Chief Maya started this one like 2 or 3 years ago. She started this one. So I had to get all that weed from out of here. This was, like, there's no more left. But this is where the zucchini was. And then this is where the peppers are. There's a lot of stuff I got. See the peppers? See the peppers? See the peppers? See the peppers? And then there's some stuff growing here. These are all, they call them green onions. The famous oregano. Aloe's growing back. I always, As you can see, I always recycle the pineapples. The pineapples. As you can see them here. I always recycle them. And Maya gave me that beautiful plant. So this is what I do. Okay. Born and raised in New York, city girl, but my mom sent me to the South as a teenager. My uncle had a farm that you wouldn't believe, and I really fell in love with it. And so after that, I just was into it. And so here, I have another garden there, because it's about to rain in a second. And then this is my fig tree, but this year I got to eat all the figs. I didn't let the squirrels get to them this time. I got them. I got them. And that's my pecan tree. You'll see pecans all on the ground. Pecans, pecan fig tree, pecan tree, fig tree. We're gonna turn this shed into a chicken house. Those are my famous little Rockwaller to my neighbor who's joined the tribe, Bug. Shout out to Chief Bug. That he built that. I put that on my YouTube channel. And this is all my ground food. This is all ground food. We have peas. We have bunch of stuff. I have a bunch of potatoes. I got carrots. I got beets, everything, because this is all ground foods. I'm going to attempt to show you. And then I have cantaloupes finally coming. Oh, this cantaloupe look like it's ripe. Wait a minute. It is. Oh my gosh, that cantaloupe is ripe. I got to take that. Here's another cantaloupe. Here's another cantaloupe. And here's another cantaloupe. I'm glad I was talking to you guys. I gotta go get that cantaloupe, and I love cantaloupe. So under here, it may look like a bunch of flowers, but it's not, guys. I'm gonna show you what it is, tribe. Gotta go under here. Let's go under so you could see. Okay, here it is. See it? It's potatoes. Sweet potatoes. See them? Sweet potatoes under here. So I have sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. All this is ground food. Potatoes. Potatoes, potatoes. And you know I always love my sunflowers. I love them so much. And so under all here is the potatoes. So me and my tribal son, we got to get under here and get all of this. All of these potatoes. We got to dig it all up. We're gonna do a lot of digging, but we wait. So, yes. Oh, and over here, I'm gonna plant four blueberry, four blueberries, four blueberry trees. So that'll be my sixth garden. But my ultimate goal is to have a greenhouse. The ultimate goal is to have a greenhouse, because greenhouses you can grow all year round. I want to grow coconuts. I want to grow soursop. I want to grow star seeds, a lot of the mangoes, and it's not here. And I want to do moringa, a lot of different herbs and stuff. But much appreciate love, your Koki Wado, much gratitude to everyone that joined my live on bigging up Kanye West. Slavery is a choice. It really is. And most of you are slaves and don't even know it. Don't even know it. I like that song that brother said. Nigga, I ain't black, I'm a Indian. Copper tone, yeah, I'm brown skin. What? You know, and my grandson, he's going on 5 next month. He'll tell you in a minute. His father's side, his father's mom, grandmother is from Haiti, Aibobo, Haiti, Sakpase, Nabule, Mezabianwe. And my grandson, they be like, oh, you're Haitian. He be like, no, I'm not, because Haitians are really Tainos and Arawak. And shout out to Chief Voodoo. I mean, I love him. Remember I told you they banned me on TikTok. I was kicked off of TikTok. But who cares? TikTok is in China. You're sharing all your information with China, a communist country, and they got all your information. Screw TikTok. After they kicked me off and banned me, I didn't go back because at least I've been. One thing about YouTube, they have banned me for a while. All I could do was go live. I couldn't post up no videos, nothing, because I was doing the truth. Now they let me post up. Oh, thank you, Soul. Yeah, I put a lot of work in those gardens. Thank you. They wasn't letting me post. Instagram had me shadow banned. Twitter shut me down during COVID for telling the truth. And then Facebook, I lived in Facebook jail. It was a lot, but I didn't stop, you know. But once you know the private side from the public side, you will excel. You will excel because once you don't know trust law, you in trouble. Most of our people in trouble because they're going along with the system. They think they have arrived. They think because they got a house and a car, they doing it. Let something happen to you. Let you get in the hospital. Even in the hospital, when you're on the private side and you're in trust law, they're going to deal with you different. They're not going to force the medication on you. They're not going to force all these things on you because it's a whole different ball game. So Kanye West is so right when he says that slavery is a choice. And I'm used to people cursing me out because I always got the $5 Indians cursing me out. The reason I got kicked off of TikTok because they kept reporting me. But ICE is not coming for me. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. ICE, ICE, baby. ICE is not coming for me. If I'm so African, as they always were saying that I was African, how come I have not been deported back to Africa? Because I'm not African. I'm O negative. That links me right here. The mother, la madre de el mundo, civilization, in the nation. So uno need to stop chatting, pull the rubbish, man, because you done know already. I, Chief Tanis, is original. That part. So all you from India, Mom, how can you be Indian? I am from India. How are you Indian? Sweetie, you may be from India, but India was only named because a colonizer from Britain, the British, named you India. Indian, it means slave. You're a slave. Your country is Bharat, Hindustan, and your culture is Hinduism. When they see me with feathers, when I be down here going in the stores and they be looking at me, I'm like, what happened? What happened to you? What happened? ¿Qué te pica? ¿Qué tú quieres? ¿Qué tú necesitas? ¿Qué es su problema? They be like, why are you? Because I'm the original, a toxin. Okay, look that word up. Okay, a toxin. Okay, they got our people brainwashed with music and this. What has hip hop done for us? What has the music, what has Hollywood done for us? Nothing. Okay? And like Kanye West said, that music is on a low frequency, 808 frequency, low chakra vibration, very low vibration. Thank you, soul. Yep. So I done talked y'all heads off, but I had to do this live because, I see the stuff that Kanye is going through, and it's because he's telling the truth. And we live in a society right now, you are hated for speaking the truth. In the 60s, when Dr. King and Malcolm X were spitting truth, they were loved. In 2025, me, Kanye, and the rest of Earth Speaks, Origine Sounds, Chief Voodoo, Mikael, all of us, that's Diana, all my indigenous people on Facebook that go hard, we don't really get the love. We get the hate because these people are modern day slaves. They made the choice to be slaves. That's on them, not us. So if you know you're not a slave, if you got this message today and your house is in mortgage and you became a watered estate, You can always fix it. You can become not a water state, because I was born a water state with my parents. Like my grandson, I be telling my daughter, although she don't listen, that's on her. She will see. Like my girl Owlette still here says, these are energy vampires. And the reason why, because from children, from birth, they've been giving them shots that takes their soul and their consciousness. So they're unconscious and they're soulless people. And this is why we're going through it. This is the reason why. So much love and light, prosperity, abundance, joy to all those, and much appreciate love to everybody that went and stayed and guided with me, sacred energy, through what I went through the beginning of this year to now. Nothing but great things. I'm a tsunami of wealth. I am infinite supply, divine design. Everything goes my way. I already have any and everything that I need, because I am one with the universe, with the Creator, with the Most High, dwells in me. I am the goddess. I am the mother of civilization. Okay? First name goddess. Okay? On my passport, on my license, first name goddess. Goddess Queen Princess Lanisha. Okay? En Guatemala, en Belice, mucha gente te llámame la princesa. In Central America, I'm known as princess. A lot of times my dad calls me princess because I'm 63 years young, and still looking good in the hood. A toxin don't crack. Melanin don't crack. That part. Because black is an adjective. Black means absence of light. People cursing me out and go hard. That's why I wore this one and this one. And am I that complexion? No. Have you seen a Caucasian look like this? No. So I just come debunking the lies and providing the receipts. And I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace and natural hair grease, much love and light. And I'm taking AI classes. I'm learning AI. And so now I've done my website. If y'all could put it in the feed, HAPPY, the number 2, nappy.com. I've done an amazing amount of work now on my website with AI, which is our frequency and energy. All this stuff they get, we already done it. We done went to space and everything. We've been doing all this. They've been finding spacecraft. They said they look like the African Americans. We already been on this technology. They hold everything. Why do you think they closed the Grand Canyon? I go to the canyon, the Grand Canyon here, in Lumpkin, Georgia. I go there. They let that open, but the Grand Canyon, the reason why? Because do you know you can walk from the Grand Canyon to Africa, to India? That's why they closed it. Okay, and they got all our artifacts and stuff in those caves. Like we go to the one here, you always see me, I'll do a quick short of me in the Grand Canyon in Lumpkin, Georgia. It's called Providence. But every park, every place that we dwell, they turn it into a state park. Like I keep telling you, church and state, they work together. And most of the people are property of the state. You're water the state. You're property of the state. You're not free. None of uno is free, are ya? You're freaking rasclad slave man. Slavery is a choice, are ya? Uno should know that already. You're a slave man. And if you don't do your research and come up out of slavery, the next generations will be. That's why I'm so happy that this new generation, they're learning the paperwork. They're authenticating their birth certificates. They're coming out of her. It says come out of her. It means come out of her with the paperwork. Come out of all the things that you're property of the state, award of the state. So I'm going to leave you with that, because knowledge is power. Just like I plant these seeds to make watermelons and cantaloupe. I'm getting ready to go get my cantaloupe now. know that everything that you do, you can undo, but it's all with trust law. And as Kanye West says, slavery is a choice. So what's your choice? Do you want to be a slave or do you want to be free? Peace and natural hair grease. Much love and light. My website, HAPPY, the number 2, BENappy.com. Have a great weekend. Love yourselves so others can love you and know that you are the greatest. The greatest. Although you're brainwashed, although you're a Marlon slave, you're still the greatest, but you have to rise up to greatness. Greatness. That part. Peace. Nanaya, Yokoki, Wado. Much love and light. All right. Woo! Peace and love.